Mariah Carey lost her mother and her sister on the same day. And I, with all respect and being so sensitive to that level of grief and loss, I bring you a very interesting story of Mariah Carey's astrology and the astrology of family. So, welcome. My name is Lydia, and this is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese astrology channel. And on this channel, I often read the charts of famous people because I think it helps us to better understand our own charts and our own lives. So, welcome. So, as we look at Mariah Carey's Bazi Chinese astrology, we're going to look specifically at her current luck cycle and the 4 pillars of her chart, which reveal very interesting things about the karmic sacred contract playing out in this tragic story. If this sparks your interest, please subscribe, like, and follow so you don't miss a single video. And so Mariah Carey is born March 27th, March 27th, 1969, 7:33 in the morning. And her 4 pillars are a yin earth rooster for her year, the month of yin fire rabbit, the day yin metal ox, and the hour yang water dragon. So I'm going to hold this up for you because I know that you guys really like to see these charts. So you can see right away, that she's born in the year of a rooster and the month of a rabbit, and they conflict with each other. It's like scissors cutting flowers in the garden, or taking a pocket knife and whittling a stick. So this is a conflicted situation going on in her chart. And the other interesting piece in the month, which is really what we're looking at in this read, because the month is in void. So as the month is in void, what's happening? What are voids? Let's start with that. Many people will say to me when they get their astrology written from me, what is this void about? And we all have 2 voids dependent on the year that you're born. And Mariah Carey's void animals are tiger and rabbit, which means that February and March are the weakest times of year for her. It's the worst time of year for her to launch anything or make any big major decisions. She may also go through luck cycles, though that's not the case in this life. But she definitely goes through years of the rabbit and the tiger for sure. Last year was a year of a rabbit. So the thing that's interesting here, having a placement of void in your chart, if it's a year void, I don't see a whole lot of, shows somebody that maybe goes through a lot of movement in their life. As far as being on the go, not being stable. When it's the month, it can impact your ability to find real connection with your elder siblings and parents. It can mean that, for instance, your family is from Portugal, and you came over with your grandparents and your parents stayed behind. Or maybe that your father's in the military. Maybe your mom travels a lot for work. There is physical, or it can be emotional distance. There is a disconnect. And we know from Mariah Carey's, the story of her life, we know that she was estranged from her sister for decades, and her mom was a very conflicted, complicated relationship. They both died on the same day. Wow. For someone, I am a grief ceremonialist. It is another one of the things that I offer. And for the women that come to my home in retreat, often we do a water ceremony. I also do them on Zoom, just like I do our Bazi astrology readings. And I can put links below for all of these things because grief sidelined the last 3 years of my life. My father died in January 2021. I believe it was a Kali full moon, which made perfect sense for my dad. 2 weeks later, my beloved dog was put down. He was old and sick. And just about exactly a year later, my mother died from a very sudden, unexpected, and swift bout with cancer. And my father's brother died somewhere in there too. And the pandemic wiped out my kids' yoga business. This is called compounded grief. And when something happens to you, and it can be a sudden job change, a sudden move, maybe your child has gone to college and you are an empty nester and a parent dies or a loved one dies, that's compounded loss. We don't give enough credit to these emotional hits that can really knock you off your knees. When we go through these life changes of loss, especially when it's compounded like this, one after the other, you're just in so much physical pain. I've only just recently gotten to the point where I can take deep breaths without crying. Really. And you learn over time, for anyone watching this who has experienced profound grief, you learn eventually to somehow live with it. But it's like, I kind of feel like in some ways that pain goes numb, but it's right there. All it takes is hearing a song or having a memory or smelling something that reminds you of somebody, or even sometimes hearing their voice in your head. Sometimes I hear my mom calling me, it's weird. So anyway, there's this void in her chart, and it so explains the distance that she felt. Her parents divorced when she was 3. Her mother, in her first luck cycle, Yang Earth Dragon, double Yang Earth, so much mother influence, too much, overwhelming presence of her mother in that stage of her life. And to know that it was not a healthy environment. And wow, isn't family something? It's kind of like we sign up for this. We sign up for it. Wow. So the other interesting piece isn't just that there's a void, which is saying disconnect. Physical, you're not going to see much of them, and the emotional component is toxic in this situation. Then we look at her current luck cycle, which shifted in 2022. So for the last couple years, she's been in a Yin Water rooster luck cycle, which, because she's born in a rooster year, this is like fanning the flame of conflict. It is emphasizing this battle within her chart that involves her sister and her mom. Now, I don't know. I think there's a brother. There's another sibling. I don't know if they're older or younger, but they would be in on this too. This conflict is very personal, and it speaks of her sister. This time of her life, this Yin Water also speaks of her relationship with her daughter. There is a lot of shift going on in her chart as far as these relationships go. This is the thing that's interesting. Like, for instance, if I read your chart, okay, and I saw that you were in a luck cycle that was in conflict with a specific month or a specific pillar of your chart. For instance, if this was your day pillar, right? I would say your own welfare is at risk now and romantic partnerships. If it's your hour, I would say it's your career and your younger siblings or children. If it's your month, it's your older siblings and parents. The year, not so much, because it's your elders. And unless you have relationships with aunts and uncles and grandparents that is very involved in your life, I don't consider it. So, boiling it down to this, the fact that they both died on the same day, what a thing that they signed up for. The journey that they had in this life with their relationship, and they chose to leave together. Wow. So yeah, this journey for Mariah from ages 52 to 61 will highlight her relationship with her daughter, and her sister will continue to be an influence in these coming years. The impact that family has on us is really an interesting thing, isn't it? Wow. And this time of her life is very much about her, how she sees herself in relation to all that has just happened. And yeah. And within this, I think that there could be, being a rooster anyway, an opportunity for her to express herself, to use her platform in some way, and to get into some projects and creative activities, write music that is a personal response to all that has happened to her. And I hope that happens. I think that when we can take our grief and turn it into something, compost it into something usable, it's powerful. Yeah. And to just wrap this up, this isn't a long video, that this year, you know, when we layer things, so she's in this luck cycle that is conflicted with her month, that shatters these relationships, just shatters it, and it's in void, right? All of these things, it's destined to happen like this. But then we look at her, the year, and we bring this down. And the year, the Yang Wood, speaks of her continuing to be successful and to have the fame and all the bigness of her life. But the dragon specifically speaks of her mom. Tucked inside that is her dad. And a little bit of her daughter. And the dragon when we look at, is there any conflict with the dragon? Well, yeah, because the rabbit harms the dragon. And as the rabbit and the dragon have a harmful relationship, even as it creates more wood, which is what she manifests, it's like her money, it harms the earth. And what is earth but the resource in her chart, her mom? Then the last little piece, because we all, in some ways, these astrology charts, they are the map of your life. When I was in my 20s, I got so into astrology because, and also tarot, which is something else I do, because I love understanding our human life and what makes us who we are and why we have these relationships the way that they work out for or against us, for the lessons that we're meant to learn. Her life pillar, which is a secret fifth pillar of our charts, explains why we're here. So why is Mariah Carey walking on this sweet earth? It's a yang wood dog. It speaks of somebody destined to wealth and fame. It speaks of someone, the dog speaks of someone who their life is greatly influenced by their mom. And the mother archetype. And one might say a goddess or a diva. And the dog certainly speaks of someone that's going to stand up for the underdogs, somebody who is going to fight the good fight, this, the person that's looking for justice in their lives. The dog also, with her day of the ox, speaks of a penalty, a hidden secret penalty of family drama, conflict that really took a toll on her health, mental or physical. So the fact that this is a year of the dragon, it's a hidden conflict on top of the ones that are already happening that I've already mentioned. And again, what is banging up? It's the mother. And so it is a fascinating thing that when we see how all of these components come together, how it is realized in our lives. So we go from looking at the astrology to the realization of that astrology. This is someone who, the dragon in her hour speaks of a natural leader in her career, that she is the diva, she is the goddess, she makes money, she loves what she's doing, she is innovative and inspiring or inspired and creative and gutsy and a bit rebellious in her work. Yeah. So, she can come off as being aloof and self-centered. She can be manipulative, a real fighter. This woman is a survivor. She's independent, competitive. She needs to lead. Nobody is telling this woman what to do. And she's a dreamer, a romantic, loves a good party. Destined to have wealth and to enjoy spending it. After all, she's yin metal. Yin metal is somebody that's all sparkle dust and moonshine. Yeah. And when we look at her day pillar, we see that this is someone who is looking for, in her love life, in her partners, her husbands, somebody that is her teacher, somebody who's her soulmate, her inspiration, a real spiritual connection, a friend, a partner, and somebody maybe they can collaborate with. Maybe they're a musician also, or have some other gifted talents that they can explore and do together. The ox in the day shows somebody that she can work hard. She is a tough cookie. She dreams big. She organizes her life, and she's got everything just so. And that rooster in her year, often we will lean more towards our year pillar or our day pillar for our personality. And usually there's like a mix of the two. But she is definitely leaning into that rooster, flaunting her colors, all of her style, all of her glam, and definitely got a voice to sing. Wow. Got that from her mama, she did. So yeah, family dynamics, what a thing, huh? So I was curious and I looked. Sunday was a day of the rooster, which would have been a very interesting day if that was the day that they died, because it would make a trifecta of roosters banging against that month of the rabbit. Yeah, so not exactly sure. All she said was over the weekend. She didn't say which day. Saturday was triple monkey month, monkey day. My intuition says it happened on Sunday, day of the rooster. Would make more sense anyway. But anyway, suffice it to say, with all due respect and being so sensitive to Mariah Carey as she is going through this incredibly painful time, I send blessings of support and grace to her. And to you, if you are experiencing the pain of grief, know that I am here. I do grief ceremonies. They are such a different way. Instead of talk therapy, it's just a different way of honoring the person that you're mourning. So yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Blessings to all of you, and until next time, be well.